You're listening to the Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan, as always, joined by Callum and James in the studio. How you going, guys?
Not bad.
So a pretty quiet one this week, but James has some kind of
some news.
housekeeping
Announcement
for the listeners.
So yeah, I am going to Europe at the end of July until the end of August. So I will miss MIF, which means the boys will have to cover it this year without me. And yeah, I just wanted to, it's not for a while, but yeah, I'll just talk about it later when it's closer. But yeah, so yeah, I'll be gone for a bit from the show in the middle of the year. But then I'll probably be back after that.
Probably.
We'll see.
We'll see if we win.
Or I might just stay in Europe. Depends.
We'll get you a satellite phone, James. You can call in.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, depending on
We'll have to look at the time.
I'll just zoom in.
Yeah, we'll zoom you in.
Yeah.
You can be a European correspondent wherever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I could. I'll watch
You said you're going to Germany, right?
Yeah, Germany.
Like, where's Herzog? Get me Herzog right now.
Yeah, Germany,
In
Austria.
the airport yelling.
Italy, Croatia, maybe a couple other places. What I didn't tell you guys is that because my sister's having a quarter-life crisis and she loves Rammstein.
Oh, no.
So she just bought Rammstein tickets and she's like, we're going to Germany and going to see Rammstein.
Have you listened to Rammstein?
I mean, a little bit, but I don't.
They kind of suck, James.
She loves them.
So it's
So I mean,
the thing about
Yeah.
Rammstein. The thing about Rammstein is they put on. It's like a theatrical show.
yeah,
If that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there, who would type furiously saying Rammstein are actually musical geniuses. Each to their own. But I'm sure you'll enjoy the spectacle of it.
well, yeah. I mean, I like some of their songs. I don't really listen to a lot of their stuff, but I know, their shows are pretty like big kind of
Bombastic.
spectacles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll be fun. But yeah, basically, I'm just
Stay
getting dragged.
Stay away from the flamethrower, I guess.
Yeah.
Depending how close
I think,
you are.
I don't think we're that close. But yeah, I'm basically just getting dragged to that, and then just gonna hang out in Europe for a while. So that'll be good. And I'll try to snag some Blurays while I'm there. I'll have to figure out that into my
Your budget.
yeah, and my what do you call it? The weight, your suitcase,
yeah.
your luggage. But yeah, later in the year I'll probably talk about it more. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring it up now because last year was our first kind of myth.
Yeah.
As the Tuesday Review, and then we're like, yeah, gonna do it again this year, and I was like,
Not if Lola has anything to say.
yeah,
about
not
it.
if my sister's like, okay, see ya. Yeah, but yeah, that'll be fun, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's always stuff to cover. So there's always content for the show.
Oh, for you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, no. I mean,
Alan will come in and
he'll take it over.
He'll sit down and be like, James is no longer coming back. This is the Tuesday Review.
And when I come back and I'm just, it's like the show's just completely renamed, it's just Alan's face on the logo. Yeah.
Expect it.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be mad.
It's in character.
Yeah.
All right. So this week we're just taking it easy with a bit of a round table, kind of what we've been watching lately.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe next week we'll have something more exciting. But
We should, yeah, hopefully.
I guess I'll start with just a couple of things I've been watching. I watched 1 Hour Photo.
Nice.
Which I really enjoyed. It's what happens to everyone if they stay in retail a bit too long.
Yeah, I mean...
You escaped. Didn't happen to you yet.
Yeah, but I was close.
Yeah.
I mean, not as creepy. Maybe because he doesn't really go postal. Like he's more like creepy.
Yeah.
I don't think retail workers snap that way, but most of them, would probably go postal. Like, shoot definitely up the place.
Yeah. I did like it's funny. It's obviously he has the character has a lot of kind of attachment issues, and he's a stalker essentially. But he loves his job. and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to get my photos processed through him. He has the best me lab in the state.
It's one of those movies where
Yeah.
he's like very particular
Yeah.
about his work.
There's a blue shift of +3, and he's like screaming about it. to
Yeah,
the guy.
and it's like it's in a like pharmacy, grocery
It's
store.
basically like a Walmart.
Yeah, like a Walmart photo lab, and you know most people doesn't really care, but he's like, I take pride in my work, kind of thing. It's that meticulous nature that you see in like a lot of movies of like, this guy's really, this is all he has, and this is his passion, even though he's working in this crappy job for probably minimum wage, and he's a middle-aged man. Also, Robin Williams, dramatic Robin Williams is
next level, yeah.
Pretty,
it's like Adam Sandler. You know what I mean? In a way. Obviously, you can argue if Robin Williams comedically is
Robin
also
Williams
better than,
comedically amazing, and then dramatically amazing, whereas Adam Sandler comedically used to be funny but not maybe amazing, but now all his comedies are garbage. I know you guys like him, but yeah, his dramatic stuff. But yeah, I mean, comedic actors often make really great dramatic actors because of how expressive they are and intense, whereas serious actors, it's harder to do comedy, I think.
Yeah, because you need control of the face and like all the kinds of stuff that come with learning.
There's a lot of physicality. Like Jim Carrey, like, you know, he's good dramatically. Like, it's just, and that's one of the like primo Robin Williams drama performances.
It's like 1 hour photo and insomnia, basically.
Yeah, did a couple of ones, but I can't remember because my brain is mushy.
Yeah. As we all have brains. And then I watched Watcher, which I've been meaning to watch for a long time.
I talked about it during Spooktober, I think.
Yeah.
Was that last year?
I think so, yeah. And that kind of convinced me to get back to it.
Yeah, because I had watched it, and then Nathan said, "Oh, hey, started watching this movie called The Watcher," and I said, "Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I like that movie." And then we were talking about it during one of our Spooktober episodes, and he's like, "Oh, I only watched the first 5 minutes." I'm like, "Well, why did you even tell me?"
No, yeah.
This is like,
I sort of, it got me back on watching it because you enjoyed it, and I liked it
for what it is. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it previously, but I left Netflix, and then there was a little void in no man's land, and then it went on to Shudder.
Yeah.
So I was able to watch it on Shudder this time. It was on Netflix last time. And I liked it. It's good. Like I said in my Letterboxd review for it, it's like being inside a jail or slasher while it's all happening around you, wondering whether or not you're the next victim.
Yeah.
Until...
paranoid.
No spoilers, but you don't really see much until like the end.
Yeah.
And then kind of you get all is revealed. Kind of the mystery resolves itself. Yeah. But it's kind of got that paranoia that comes with some of those kinds of Italian slashers, like, the Dario Argento films almost. It has that vibe. But you just never see any action. Yeah. For the most part.
But that kind of works for the movie because it's like a psychological thriller. Adds to
that paranoid tension.
Yeah, where no one believes her, that this guy...
and she can't really understand the language everyone's speaking. So
that's because alienates her. I think I talked about this when I talked about it on the other episode, but you know how... I know we've talked about it before, how, low-budget movies, they shoot in Eastern Europe because it's cheap, and usually they try to hide it or they pretend it's America. I like that this movie, I think, was it Romania?
Romania,
yeah. It's just shot in Romania. It's set in Romania, and that's part of the...
It works to its advantage.
Yeah, it's part of the story, and the characters is like she can't understand the language. She's got no friends or family there, and there's this creepy guy, and no one believes her that she's being stalked, and so it adds to the whole thing. And I guess it's a good way to utilize that location without pretending.
It's cleverly written, yeah.
Yeah, like not pretending it's like New York or whatever.
Yeah. I don't have much else. The only other thing I have to say is recently I finished watching Yellowjackets.
Ah, nice.
My brain always...
Yeah,
my brain is wired in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because I've also seen all of Yellowstone, and it's, I guess, a better show.
Yeah. I haven't seen Yellowstone, but I would argue Yellowjackets is better.
Yeah, they're different. I guess.
Yeah, they're much different. You wouldn't compare. Yeah.
But yeah, my brain is hardwired because I've seen more of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Straight to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've finished watching season 2 of Yellowjackets.
Yeah.
They finally fixed it on Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah, because you're having the audio issues.
There was an audio issue where I guess the kind of audio track started after the video track. So
It's
you
out
heard
of
like
sync.
it was out of sync, but it's out of sync so much that you heard like the production beep or something.
That's bad.
Yeah, and you'd be like beep, and then a couple of seconds go by, and then you got like the audio start.
Yeah.
And it took them a while, but they fixed it. I really liked it. Have you seen it yet?
Yes. Season 2,
Yeah.
when it came out. I really liked that show.
It's good. It's good.
Like, because at the time the writers and actors strike was on, and I was just like, oh no, like I want season 3 because I'm excited to see where it goes next, especially after the end of the second season, where stuff goes down. I was like, what are they going to do next? But one thing I did say when I watched it, I think we talked about it on the show a while ago. The first season is like, there's a supernatural element, but it's like underneath the surface.
Yeah.
The second season is much more overtly supernatural. I hope the show doesn't turn into like a weird magic, witches, wizards, crazy
I agree.
monsters.
What's intriguing about, we'll call it the Force.
Yeah.
right, or
Let's
the
keep
evil.
the spoilers to
No
present.
spoilers, no spoilers. But James is right. It gets more overt in the second season.
Yeah.
But I would... Part of the fun in that storyline is how much of it is just psychological in their heads, how much of it is a coping mechanism based on what they needed to do to survive back then, and how it affects them now.
Yeah.
So there's that element to it, which I hope they
I'm
don't...
hoping, I kind of trust where they're going because I've liked the first 2 seasons, but yeah, I hope they just don't go, and now he's a CGI monster.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I like the fact that you're not sure if it's real or not because they went through something so traumatic that it's like, it's demons in the figurative sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like not necessarily in the literal sense.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Apparently we're not getting the next season for at least over a year or something. It's
Well,
gonna be a
like I
while.
said, the strike, I think, pushed things.
But
And
I'd rather them take their time and we get a good product eventually than rushing it out.
also, I'd rather quality over quantity.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
if they have to end it after 3 or 4 seasons, that's fine, rather than drag it out forever.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this show could work for that long.
No, like it's got good Stephen King vibes.
Yeah,
Know what
it's
I mean?
got-
It's got that kind of, as kids, as adults, resolving the
Yeah,
mysteries in the present that haunted them in the
I like
past.
the cast. All the casts are really good. The older and younger
Yeah.
versions, and that's really fun.
Yeah. Misty's my favorite character.
I mean, Christina Ricci's really good in the adult part.
Yeah.
Nah, I like Nat because she's the only one who seems to have a conscience.
I guess.
Like
Yeah.
all of them, like all the rest of them are all horrible people.
Oh, they're all horrible
both
people,
as
yeah.
teens and as
Yeah, no, I know.
adults.
Yeah.
Whereas Nat, even though she has her substance abuse problems,
She feels bad about things.
she's which is why when season 2 ends, I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
I was just like, something's revealed, and I'm like, hang on a second,
Yeah.
don't betray me, writers of
I know.
Yellowjackets.
Yeah, I know. But there's Misty. She's just funny, man. I just enjoy her banter and her schemes.
Yeah, her awkwardness, weirdness, trying to fit in.
And her relationship with what's his name? Oh, I have to look it up.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Wood.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
great. He's weird and creepy. in the
creepy guy.
same way that she is, and it works.
They're
so
like
well.
perfect for each other.
Look, that's all I've got for this week,
Yeah.
boys. And I'm also up to date with The Simpsons.
Yeah, good effort. How long? It took you, a couple years
couple
to get
years,
through
yeah.
32, 33 seasons?
35 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll take my medal now.
No, I was actually going to say, like, was it worth it?
Yeah, it was.
You say yeah, but I doubt that very much. You could have been watching a lot of other much better things.
Yeah, but see, now I have an authoritative opinion on whether it's good or not.
Yeah, but you also have questionable taste, so I can't really take what you say.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do it myself, so
Yeah.
I guess I'm just in limbo.
I mean, look, I guess start with the most recent season's been pretty good, so you even just start with the most recent one if you wanted to dip your toe in to see what the quality's like.
I could. Yeah, I mean, maybe you pick the one that you like the most out of the new season, and
Yeah, one of the most recent ones is a 2-pack. Willie gets married. That's a good one.
Okay.
And then the one where they go on the nerd boat, you would enjoy.
Okay.
They go on like a cruise, but it's all like nerds and pop culture and geek culture.
Okay.
And there's like a mystery on the ship. It's kind of like a Poirot kind of skewed episode. That's really fun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I've got. What have you got for us, Callum?
I watched some more horror movies because that's just what the stack, dictates. I watched The Gate 1 and 2, which were recently released. I don't know.
The Blu-rays were recently re-released in Australia.
And I'd never seen them, so it was interesting. Just fun.
Yeah, 80s creature.
80s
effects.
creature horror. It was fun.
Yeah.
I can't say too much about it because it's not that deep. They're not that deep.
No, it's just like kids, find monsters in their backyard.
Yeah, kids getting into trouble, then having to get out of trouble. It was fun.
Classic 80s kind of.
Yeah. Then I watched the American Ring Trilogy.
I've only seen the first one.
They're good-looking Blu-ray discs.
Beautiful transfer, yeah.
Really? Which one did you get? The Arrow?
No, I
they're
got
just
the
normal
Cinema
Blu-ray.
Cult Cinema Cult.
Oh, really? They're older. They're older,
they
like
look
transfers.
but they're nice.
Because I think Arrow's releasing it, or has released it recently.
No, look at. I mean, my copies were awesome.
Okay, yeah. No, I'd be interested to see that because I think they've been re-released on 4K.
They should look good on 4K. If the Blu-ray looks really nice, I imagine.
Yeah.
4K
Well,
would
if you
look
just
great,
got a standard Australian release,
They're interesting films right now. I haven't seen. I've seen the first two Japanese ones, but not in a long time, so I can't. My memory of it is pretty poor. But the American ones are on their own. Are pretty good. The first two are the best, and then the third one's not so good. The first one's the best. It's like all horror franchises, right? The first one's the best, and then they slowly degrade over time.
Like like I said, I've only seen the first American one and the first Japanese one, and I know they both have sequels after that.
Yeah. So with the American trilogy.
I remember we were talking about it off air one time, and it was like they just kind of ruined the lore after a while. Like, and that's the problem with a lot of franchises.
Yeah, so
especially horror.
Yeah, so I think in the Japanese one, which is based on novels, they end up like the big ruin is spoilers, I guess, for Spiral or whatever it's called. Is that the way she kills? And this is a cop. They don't use this in the American movies, and it's a big cop out for the whole franchise. Is that the way she kills people? Is she gives them a heart tumor, and then they die. It's kind of
like it's more science fiction than.
It's just like, why can't she just kill people by being a malevolent force?
Or they just they get scared
but
to death.
Isn't
because they die with that?
They have a heart attack and they die.
Is it the American one that sort of says that she's got that kind of electricity? Power or whatever, like
that's how she navigates.
That's how. Yeah, it's like that's how she transmits through the TV and imprints on the tape.
It's a big canon with a lot of lore. At least the Japanese side. They don't go too deeply into it in the American one.
Yeah, they don't go deep on it, but I think there's something about that.
Yeah, what I like about the original is it's kind of tight, it's focused.
The less you explain, the better.
That's right. So the first two have Naomi Watts as the hero, and they're like, I don't think they should have moved past that. I think it should have just been the core characters, and then if you take two movies to explain that story, that's fine. But then I'll give my analysis in a sec. But then with Rings, there's like a time skip, and it's a brand new bunch of characters.
Rings came out more recently, didn't
2017, I believe. Something like
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's okay.
Do we have it on Blu-ray?
We do, yeah. Oh. And there was also a short film called Rings as well.
That's set in the same universe.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Is it official?
The Ring, kind of official. I was looking into it, but it's one of those things where it's like there's two properties called Rings, and they're both based on the Ring. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but is one? Yeah, what's?
The short film came out first, I believe.
Yeah, but is it like a fan film or an official?
It's one of those situations where Sean Connery plays James Bond again, but it's not canon.
Oh, to be honest,
because of legal issues.
I don't know if it's canon or not. I just when I looked it up, it was like in the Wikipedia. Anyway, the first movie is really good. We've talked before on the show about how good horror movies also, investigate the world. There's world building there where you have investigations to, figure out the mystery, the supernatural mystery, and The Ring delivers that in spades. So it's about this tape. Where did the tape come from? Who last owned the tape?
Who's the girl on the tape?
The detective story,
Yeah, and the Ring does that really well in both, I'm sure, the Japanese version and the American.
Yeah.
And that's what the first two movies are great at.
Also, the American remakes of Asian horror movies, there's heaps of them.
And they're mostly always terrible.
Yeah, The Ring is actually a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the first two movies are really good.
Hmm.
Because like I said, like Naomi Watts has a charisma, she has an intensity. You don't see the horror that much like happening, if that makes sense. You just see the dead bodies most of the time.
It's more,
so
yeah.
they save all
It's more
of that.
atmosphere and...
You see the tape and you get the creepy vibes, but you don't. It's not that in your face because it's like
Yeah.
the scare is more the clock's ticking.
Mm.
You know, we know we're gonna die in
Sense
7
of
days.
dread.
We have to fix it quick. We've got 48 hours left.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like there's the travel scenes and the exposition, and then you get to see the investigations around the coastal town.
I love the bit in the well is good because it's like the sun is coming up on the last day or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're trying to find.
I think that's what Smile did very well too. It's that
Well,
sense
yeah.
of
When we
there's that
saw
clock ticking
after we
down.
saw Smile, I said it's basically just
Yeah.
The Ring.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
like
how do you
they
stop
both
the
have
disease?
7 days
Yeah,
to
yeah.
stop
fix
the
it.
yeah. And she has to go to visit the guy who's patient zero, and yeah,
And it's the same with in like The Ring. You know,
Yeah.
you can avoid the curse by showing someone else the tape.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's the same film.
yeah. I mean, Smile.
Yeah,
we all
except
enjoyed
Smile's-
Smile,
yeah,
but
yeah,
Smile
yeah,
was very derivative.
I mean,
like-
Smile's more enjoyable than The Ring.
In
Explain.
certain ways. Because
So-
it's jump scares.
because
like,
it's more energetic in jump
It is
scares.
more. So they're very different.
I think The Ring is a better movie.
So to me, The
I would
Ring would be
agree.
better served as a miniseries, whereas Smile's a good feature film, if that makes sense. Because I think that there's so much to unpack in the
I
Ring
think
universe.
the end of The Ring is really awesome, whereas the end of Smile, I was just kind of like,
yeah. But like 1-to-1, I think The Ring is a really good detective story, but it needs time to really deconstruct everything that's going on. Because there's so much they have to leave out or so much they brush over, so many story points that could have been
But-
expressed better if they had more time.
But it's like we just said, if the more they explain, the less scary it
No,
gets.
I'm not
the
talking
less-
about like the powers. I'm talking about
just characters.
characters, the backstory of the characters. It's like, you know, quick, oh, well, I'm keeping her in my basement. And then it's like, you know what I mean? And they hint at backstories, but they don't really deliver on them. Whereas, like I said, like I feel like if they had, cool, I mean, it's based on a novel, right? It's like, you know, in the novel you have more time to explain all of this stuff, and you just, you know, it's weaved into the story itself. Whereas in a movie, you have to you have to adapt it. So things get cut, things get transferred. Whereas in Smile, like I said, like it's primarily a feature film first, so it's like the story can be whatever they want. They're not adapting like a deeper backstory to anything. And like Smile's like I said, and more energetic, whereas you know The Ring has the pacing of a novel, if that makes sense. It's
But that's like we were just saying with the investigation and that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah,
And the atmosphere.
which it's better, in my opinion. The Ring would be a great miniseries.
Okay,
But anyway, Rings was not as good because it has that green tint over the whole movie. Johnny Galecki's in it, and he's okay. And it's kind of more sinister too because they know the Ring kills people, but everyone's just showing people the Ring as like a universal project.
yeah, I remember this movie now. Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
So the idea
I
is,
remember this movie, and I do not like it as much as
Yeah.
the idea is something like, you know, you can it's like the key to immortality or something. Yeah, since it can bring death, you can reverse engineer it to stop death or some stupid idea. But what I will say is it has some interesting ideas about how the Ring works, the curse works. There's a scene where Johnny Galecki and the other characters are analyzing the tape, and like, so what they do is they record it digitally or get a digital version of it somehow. But then they open it up in like a hex editor and they look at the code of the file, and they can see where things have been changed by Samara's curse or whatever. Like, that's really interesting stuff. Like that kind of, let's see if we can use technology to reverse engineer it. You know, that's what I like. Like that more intensive IT focused kind of investigation. But like I said, the charisma of the actors isn't as good as the first two.
Yeah.
The story gets sillier. It bogs itself down in its own.
I'm assuming the filmmaking isn't as good either because
No.
2017 horror movie versus...
Yeah, and like I said, it had that sickly green tint over most of the film, and I was
Yeah.
just like, lame.
Digital color grading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. Color grading is terrible in this film, whereas the color in the first two was really good.
Yeah.
Also, there's some sick special effects in the second one where like time stops and water flows backwards, and some really interesting stuff like that where the curse is taking over the little boy because the Samara is, I know that's the Japanese girl's name, but I can't remember if that's the American.
Yeah, we
girl's
can go
name.
with Samara.
No, I think Samara is the American
mate.
one. I think
I'll look it up.
the Japanese one, Sakato.
Oh, yes.
Something
You're
like
correct,
that.
yeah. Samara wants to possess the boy so he can be reborn for some reason.
Okay.
You know, and there's some interesting possession scenes and stuff like that, and sickness scenes, and like the time is ticking elements.
I'll have to watch the sequels. Yeah.
Look, Rings is a bit on the poorer side.
Yeah.
If you want to finish the trilogy, it's only 3 movies.
I mean,
right?
yeah.
But the duology of The Ring and The Ring 2
Yeah.
is where it pretty much shines.
Yeah.
Like I said, The Ring 2 is not as good as The Ring 1.
Yeah.
I want to put that out there, you know. But together, they're fine. It's, you know, a good continuation.
Sadako is her name.
Sadako.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I remember when after Smile came out, we said, oh, they could probably do a sequel. Am I just misremembering, or did they recently announce a sequel?
I feel like they are doing a sequel, but like I said, maybe it's a folie à deux.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just my foggy brain.
Let's see.
Yeah. Because I remember after they ended, and we're like, you know, a lot of great horror movies end.
They are making one, yes.
Okay, yeah. So that'll be interesting.
Releases in October.
This year?
October 18th.
What are we talking about?
Smile 2.
Smile 2.
The sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Remember when it ended, and we're like, oh,
this is in America, October 18th.
well, you'd hope. Yeah.
I guess. I laugh if it follows the same exact plotline of The Ring 2.
That'd be funny.
Well,
I hope
Could
it's
adapt
Smile
it.
with like a 2, you know, like the
Smiles.
Smiles.
Smiles. Yeah. Oh, man. Jeez. All right. So what we've got for us, Carl? You got any other films to talk about?
Well, I watched Saltburn. I know you guys reviewed it last week, but I didn't get any sleep and work was hard, so I couldn't physically make it to the studio. Look, I liked Saltburn a lot. It was interesting because there was some controversy about it, because people kind of didn't like it. It had a very mixed reaction.
Yeah.
The cinematography I thought was great on this film. Some of the nighttime scenes actually are well lit. You can see what's going on. It looks like a nighttime scene used to look. It's not just black. The acting was really good. Barry Keoghan.
I used to say Keoghan, but he pronounces it Keoghan.
Yeah. We found that out recently.
Yeah, well, we looked it up, and depending on where you come from in Ireland, they pronounce it differently.
Yeah.
I'm not
surprised.
Barry Keoghan does a great performance in this.
Yeah, he's great.
Very subtle performance. Jacob Elordi's pretty good. It's the first time I've seen him in a film.
Yeah, I was talking about last week. I'm like, he's such a big deal right now, and I'm like, he was fine. I haven't really seen him in anything else.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's because he's good looking.
Yeah, it's all good looking. That ticks the boxes for Hollywood. Yeah. The locations were beautiful in this film. Saltburn's an amazing castle, well, manor, whatever. I liked it because I think a lot of people, like, I've seen some reactions online about it because they were kind of confused about the trajectory the story goes in. Like, because you're lulled into a false sense of security because you think it's about this boy who's kind of lonely.
We'll keep it spoiler free if we can.
Yeah. Oh, no, I will. You think it's about a boy who's kind of lonely and, you know, whatever. And then it turns into something else. And it's got, like, I don't know if this is spoilers or not, but it's like, I've read that it's like a mixture of Parasite and Barry Lyndon, which I think is a great way to explain it.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I think that the story twist kind of soured a lot of people because, you know, characters they were sympathetic towards, suddenly they were like not feeling...
For me and James, I don't think it was about sympathy. I just don't think they earned that ending. They didn't put in the ground.
No.
Yeah, also...
What I'm saying is like you set yourself up to think that someone's a hero, and then there's a story twist which turns the motivations of the character around.
One of my problems with the movie was that I didn't like any of the characters from the beginning, and
they're all terrible people.
And I saw the twist coming very early on, and even then when the twist did happen, I was kind of like, okay, like I don't think it wasn't well executed.
I do agree with Nathan where I don't think they earned the ending they gave it.
They didn't put the groundwork in to achieve that in a satisfying way.
I think it would have been a better film if all of the characters' motivations were set up from the get-go.
Maybe, yeah.
Because, you know, that way you're in on it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. That way, a lot of the people complaining about it online, like last week that I saw, they would have been like, "Oh, how could they pull the wool over my eyes?"
I think,
But I mean,
I think there is a good movie in there somewhere with a different script. Like, there's different characters that have different motivations, and they're all trying to use and abuse each other. And it would have been more interesting if you had different points of view or different machinations from different characters, and they're all competing for the same goal.
yeah, they're all trying to screw each other
Ultimately,
over.
they're all competing for the same thing, right? They're just
Well,
going
it could be
about
like
it
a
in different
Knives Out
ways.
situation where they're all trying to, stab each other in the back, and
Exactly. But unfortunately, we get one perspective, which maybe is the problem.
and when they're trying to keep the twist a secret until.
Anyway, I liked it.
Yeah, I think you liked it the most. Me and Nathan agreed that it looked nice, the acting was good.
I can appreciate the filmmaking.
Yeah,
the script is terrible.
but the script is just kind of at the end of it, I was just kind of like, it's not terrible. I probably wouldn't need to watch it again anytime soon, sort of thing. Yeah, it's not like one of those movies where it ended and you're like, oh, now I have to go back and see all the intricacies of. I didn't realize he was doing it. It's like, nah, you see it once, you've seen it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Is that all we've got, Callum?
Pretty much, yeah.
Much, right. We'll go to some very quick messages and we'll be back right after this. You're back on the Tuesday review. Taking it easy this week, kicking around the table. What have you got for us lately, James? Anything interesting?
Have you watched Slow Horses season 3 yet?
I have not watched it yet.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, I watched that. It was good.
It's good?
Yeah,
Gary Oldman's still the GOAT?
Yeah, of course. He's so good. You pillock.
Yeah,
so good.
That's one nice word he uses.
Yeah, I don't know.
I saw in your letterbox you watched Demonic.
Yes. So
tell me about that because I've been wanting to watch it.
Okay, yeah. So I'm a Neill Blomkamp apologist. I like Elysium and Chappie, even though a lot of people don't. And of course, District 9 is objectively a good movie. I think most people would agree with that. It's just these other movies that people have a problem with. I know so when he makes a new movie or has a new project out, I'm kind of on board. When during COVID, he secretly self-financed and shot a movie in Canada called Demonic.
I didn't realize this was Neill Blomkamp.
Yes, which came out and everyone was like, "This is terrible. What the hell?" And I was kind of like, I still want to watch it because it's him. And it looked kind of interesting. And it just took me a long time to get around to it, and I finally got around to it last night. I think so. It's about a woman whose mother, when she was younger, the mother killed some people, and the kind of town turned on the daughter, and so the daughter had to leave town, change her name, and the mother was sent to a psychiatric prison. And then years later, now the daughter's grown up, and she finds out the mother's in a coma, and that they're doing some sort of experiment where you can go inside someone's mind. So it's like the cell. Yeah. And so she goes to see it and goes inside the mother's mind, but it's a self-financed, low budget kind of horror movie. I think from that perspective, considering it was shot during COVID and I think he self-financed it, it's pretty well done. It's it's not great or anything. It's still rough around the edges, but for how it was made, it's well done enough.
Nice.
I like the sort of simplicity of the going into the mind. It's not like The Cell where it's super big budget, lavish. Obviously they probably didn't have the money for that, but they use kind of Unreal Engine to recreate so it's closer to what an actual simulation of someone's mind would be if you used current technology.
Yeah.
And that that didn't bother me. I think it looked kind of cool the way they visualized it. I think unfortunately, it then sort of becomes a demon possession movie, and the virtual reality going inside one's mind is almost completely pointless. So I think he had two ideas and just kind of crammed them together and quickly wrote a script and was like, look, we got to film this quickly.
I think like it's a niche kind of story mechanic we haven't had in a while, and it's due to come back, and it's a shame it didn't work. The kind of whole detective story of entering the killer's mind and trying to puzzle out, like The Cell. The Cell's an amazing movie.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a good movie.
Visually, it's
it's a shame it didn't work in this one.
Yeah, I think if he picked one or the other, like if he was like, okay, this is about going into someone's mind and putting the puzzle together, or he said this is about a demon who possesses someone and makes them do bad things, and you know, the daughter has to help the mother. Like, it should have been one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really come together, and they also do this. The character development isn't particularly well done. Like, it's not developed well enough, and yeah, I think there's also this really cool bit sort of in the middle towards the end where it's like these priests who are like exorcists, but they're like a SWAT team. So they're like, you know, they've got like the black gear on and the assault rifles.
I mean, I guess the church would have the money.
Yeah, exactly. They're like some sort of secret priest exorcism demon fighting team.
Name of the episode?
What was it? I have to write that down. Secret
priest exorcist SWAT team?
Exorcist demon fighting team. Or exorcist demon fighting. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, we'll figure it out. Yeah, which is a really cool idea. And I'm like, oh, the whole movie should have been that. But then, like, knowing that, you know, the way he shot it, I'm like, oh, even if he wanted to do that, he probably didn't have the money. And so he just had to cut it down to its...
Or if it's... So I'm assuming this movie was also shot with COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that probably also would impact...
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's like... Yeah, so... Like, there's a good movie in there somewhere, and that's why I didn't hate it, because there are some really cool ideas, some cool visuals. The demon entity kind of is interesting. Some of it... Sometimes they do, like, a scare, and it was unintentionally funny. Other times they do something and I was like, oh, that looks really creepy. Yeah, I think it was okay. Like, I didn't hate it, and I think there's enough good in there where I was just like, yes, it would have been better if those things were expanded upon, or they had more time and money. But the fact that they were there still makes it was, I didn't hate watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like once you've seen it, you don't.
Yeah, so I'll give it a go.
I think it's worth watching once. Yeah. Like I said, there'll be a couple bits where you're like, this is dumb, roll your eyes. And there are a couple of bits where you'll be like, James, that is really cool. Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I wish they did more of that kind of thing.
I'll try to get on it.
Yeah. So it's not awful, but yeah. I haven't seen Gran Turismo yet. He did that last year. Neill Blomkamp did that last year. And I really wanted to go to the movies to see it, and I just didn't have time, and no one wanted to go with me. And then
sorry, not sorry. James.
No, and I was gonna go on my own, and then I was like, oh, I don't have time for this. And then, actually, the day I decided to go see it on my own, I went, and they had cancelled the session.
It's a sign from God.
Yeah, I guess at that point, like no one was bought any tickets, and I was like, damn it. So now it's out on 4K. I'm like, I'll wait till the 4K gets a bit cheaper and I'll just buy it.
Wait for a sale.
To show my support.
For Neil.
Yeah, because honestly, District 9 is so good that he could probably do anything and I'd still give him a pass.
Yeah.
Because that movie, so freaking good.
Yeah.
Even though I'll agree, like everything since then hasn't been as good. But like I said, I'm an apologist. I think his other movies are still interesting and fun. And
the other interesting movie I've been stalking your letterboxd is the Bicycle Thieves. You gave it 5 stars. Now,
yes.
Is that one you found on the YouTubes?
No.
So just very quickly for our listeners to keep in context here, we found a YouTube channel. Someone mentioned it on Threads, the social media platform, called Cult Cinema Classics.
I think so, yeah.
And it's basically like over 1,000 public domain or I guess royalty-free films. So check that out as well if you like. There's all kinds of pre-code and kind of earlier films, all the way up to like the 60s, 70s. Lots of kind of really old film noir, even some Brando movies, some westerns.
There's some spaghetti westerns, old like 1930s, 1940s.
The reason I asked is because
movies,
the
animated.
movie you watched was Bicycle Thieves from 1948. I was just wondering if that was on the YouTube.
No, so you didn't tell me about this Cult Cinema Classics channel until yesterday, I think. Bicycle Thieves is a very famous Italian movie, black and white 1940s Italian movie, which, any kind of cinephile knows Bicycle Thieves is like on the lists of greatest movies ever made sort of thing. It's one of those kind of art movie, foreign language movies that...
Retro Oscar bait.
Yeah, I guess. But no, it's just, one of those kind of movies that's like everyone's heard about. You have to watch this. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. And, since I've, loved movies my whole life, it's one I've always meant to watch. And like a lot of movies, it's one it's like, I'll get round to it eventually.
Yeah.
And, something comes up, I don't get a chance to, blah, 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 and years and years and years go by. And I bought it on Blu-ray actually a while ago, a few years ago. I can't even remember when. And it's been sitting on my shelf for a very long time. And yeah, I guess the time was right, and I just saw it on the shelf, and I was like, it's not very long, and I was just like, let's chuck it in. Let's give it a go. If you guys watch it, you will understand why people call it one of the greatest movies of all time.
How many bicycles are stolen? And are the thieves apprehended?
I don't want to spoil anything for you.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't want to... Don't get your hopes up.
Okay. Are the bikes a metaphor?
James can't say anything about spoiling it.
It's not about bikes at all. No, but it's one of those beautiful black and white Italian movies, like beautiful cinematography. It's one of the most famous examples of the Italian neo-realist movement where, all the actors were like non-actors or first-time actors, locals. It was shot, all on locations on the streets of Rome and stuff like, like it looks quote unquote authentic. It feels authentic. It sounds authentic. And it's also, it's just post-war. So it's about poverty and people trying to get by. And, I think it's just, it's one of those, you've probably heard it before, the 1001 movies you have to see before you die or whatever. Like,
man, do you remember they used to release those books?
Yeah, I think I've got
back in the day.
Yeah, I've still got those.
Used to rent them from the library and be like, I have to go through these books.
Yeah, do you remember the Leonard Maltin? Those big giant like book, and like it would just be a list of movies with like a little tiny review. Yeah, I still got a whole bunch of those. Yeah, but it's one of those kinds of movies. It's like, you should watch this before you die. This is a movie you should watch before you die. It's really, really great, emotional movie. It looks really nice. I think Callum would dig it because he's into that kind of, old school black and white movies. Yeah, just a beautiful, beautiful movie. And I'm glad I finally got around to it after all this time. Worth it. Totally worth it. And now when the 4K comes out, I'm going to have to shell out for that one.
And that'll look nice on 4K too, if it's restored properly.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be good about it and trying to, I'm trying to save money, especially now I'm going to Europe. But, because every time I buy a Blu-ray, now it comes out in 4K. So even now I'm trying to stop.
You just have to bite the bullet and be like, you know what? Blu-rays are okay with me. I don't need it on.
No, I get the FOMO. I get the I need the best version.
See, as long as the disc looks good
I also
enough,
need.
I don't care.
I also like you guys just buy like the standard Australian edition single disc, whatever. It's like I need the best edition out there with the best packaging, with the best special features, depending on the movie.
Next week, listen live for James's intervention.
I have a problem. I'm at. Have we talked about this before?
You're at acceptance.
Yeah, I'm still on the first stage. Acceptance.
Denial?
I know I have a problem.
Yeah.
But I haven't moved on from that.
Yeah, you know those skill issue, mate. I've just spent 15
skill issue.
Skill issue.
to spend $15, get the bog standard Australian Blu-ray, and then move on.
But see, to me, then that's like one step up from streaming.
Nah, man, you getting
Like,
it on. You get
Do you know why I buy discs, James? So they can't take it away from me.
Yeah, but
that's all.
But it's I would rather do that and then also have, because I watch all the special features. I like
Don't have time for that.
Yeah, see, like I'm all in on the physical media. I'm not just on the discs so they can't take it away.
Yeah.
I need like the big thick
There depends on the film.
hardback cover.
Oh, it does depend.
Depends
on the
on the
film.
film.
We dropped
Yeah, also depends on
the
the-
Godfather. I'm just
Yeah,
Yeah,
there are some money, like the Conans I was talking about before.
Yeah,
So
we bought that.
We bought the Conan 4K release, which has been delayed again and again.
Don't worry, it'll come.
Yeah, but my point is, like, for some movies, you have to buy the best
but
version.
I'm also someone who loves movies so much and loves so many movies so much that
Gotta pick and choose, man.
Yeah, but it's hard, man. Especially
Don't worry, the boys in the studio here, we've got a Powerball ticket. If we win, all the movies you want, James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, I'm not going to get my hopes up.
I could finally get that one special Blu-ray.
Yeah. I could, get our own screening room, get our own podcast studio. I have a problem with physical media, and I'm trying to be good, but it's hard because I love movies so much, and I love. Yeah, but I'm trying to be better about like waiting for as long as I possibly can, hoping that a 4K will come out. And I'm trying to only buy 4Ks now.
That's a good idea.
Except for like very special releases of like a Blu-ray where I'm like, oh, that's never going to get released on 4K because of the source. And, and that packaging is too good to give up or something. I'm trying to now just focus on 4Ks.
I mean...
Because even movies, I'm like, oh, that's never coming out on 4K. So I buy the Blu-ray and the next day they're like, this is coming out on 4K.
Again, I try to be smart with, if I'm buying a newer release movie that I know will show digitally at 2K, then I'm not going to bother buying the 4K. I'll just get the Blu-ray. So it's like...
Yeah, but I mean, how many movies... Yeah, I think that it really just depends on the movie. Yeah. But most movies is like 4K, you want that version, especially if it's proper restoration.
Oh, for restored films, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, like, because I do take this seriously, I always check, like, on the release, like, because there are a lot of 4K releases that look like garbage.
Yeah.
So it's
like
just
the Pirates, infamously, the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, one of the worst.
The Blu-ray is actually better quality than the 4K
disc. Yeah, and Terminator 2, the 4K is garbage.
And True Romance, apparently.
True Lies. Yeah, they're releasing James Cameron stuff now, and apparently
AI upscale.
Except for Titanic. For some reason, Titanic looks fine, but everything else looks like garbage. And do you know how?
Probably because the studio was like, "Nah, you don't mess with Titanic, James." It's
I'll
let you do what you want with True Lies.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can tell James Cameron what to do. So the fact that Titanic's the only one that they didn't screw up apparently is weird.
It's because it's the moneymaker.
But no, it doesn't make sense. Like, he's got this weird obsession with AI upscaling and getting rid of film grain for all his other movies, but then Titanic, apparently that one looks okay.
I don't know.
Why? Is it just the way it was shot because it's his most recent movie and he's like, this
maybe
is the least grainy?
Maybe he's just being a contrarian.
Mr. Cameron, please come on the show.
Like, for me, James Cameron's career ended with Titanic. He never did anything after that, as far as I'm concerned. Like, he's a hack now. Like, he's lost it. His George Lucas style.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But, it's disappointing because I've been waiting for The Abyss, a proper release of The Abyss. True Lies as well, but The Abyss. And apparently it looks like garbage. So...
We don't want to hear that. That's all about it.
First world problems.
First world problems.
Going to Europe, trying to stop spending money on physical media. We suck.
We do. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please like and share the Tuesday Review Facebook page, Instagram page, Threads page, Twitter page, Blue Sky page, and Newsmust page.
Yeah.
At Tuesday Review AU across all platforms.
Get
also
off,
on YouTube.
Yes. Get off of Twitter and go on Threads, because that's where it's all happening, baby.
We still need Twitter because we need to contact people who are on Twitter.
Yeah.
But we are most active really on Threads.
Yes. And if we all get off Twitter, then we won't have to be on there anymore.
That's true. But yeah, send us some memes. Shitpost with us on Threads.
Yes.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
The algorithm is right for us so far.
At the moment, yeah.
Hit us up if you want to, reach out. Please reach out. We'll be back next week. Adios, cousins.